My older sister demands I put my baby up for adoption because, in her words, I don't deserve my baby. She does. Trigger warning, there's talks of abortion in this story. Guys, this one's a wild ride. Here we go. I, 28 female, am currently 19 weeks pregnant. My partner, 29 male, and I are very excited, as this is our first baby and we've been trying for a few months. We announced the pregnancy a month ago at a dinner party that we hosted. Everyone seemed surprised and overjoyed. My sister, 35 female, who I'll call Kay, immediately burst into tears and asked me how I could do this to her. I stared at her and asked, "What?" She started ranting, saying that I always got everything I wanted, which is not true. I worked hard for what I have. And that she knew I got pregnant just to rub it in her infertility face. She screamed at me for 5 minutes about how I did not deserve to be a mother, and she should be the one pregnant right now. My parents left with her soon after, and the party was basically over. I was really disturbed of my sister's reactions because we've been pretty close before and she's never done anything like this. Kay called me the next day and apologized for how she acted at my announcement and asked if we could meet up for coffee. I accepted. We met up and she pretended as nothing happened. Then she started a big speech about her infertility. How heartbreaking it is growing life inside of her just to lose it, and how she'd always wanted children of her own. She then proceeded to ask me if I could consider getting an abortion to make things fair, or letting her adopt my baby. I stared at her and asked if she was serious. Kay said she was. I just dropped my part of the bill on the table and left. L, which is Kay's husband, texted me a rant that night about how I made Kay cry, and how all they wanted was to be parents and that this meant so much to them. I owed it to them for being more successful than them. I and my partner invested many years ago into our jobs, and we've worked very hard to earn what we have. I told them that my partner and I have been hoping for kids too, and I was not giving up my baby. He hung up. She later sent me a long letter, 4 pages, about how she'd always wanted to be a mother and could I consider either abortion or letting her adopt my baby. How I should care about my older sister's happiness. How she would make a better mom, how the oldest kid should have the first grandchild, and how I could always just have another baby since it was, quote, so easy for me to conceive. After that, she did quiet down some. I thought we were done with this. Except it wasn't. She had posted my sonogram on her Facebook and captioned it, "Elle and I are expecting. We can't wait to meet our little princess." I was seeing red. I text her and demand she takes the post down. No reply. I text Elle, no reply. So I called my mother and told her what happened. She was able to make Kay take down the post, luckily enough. Kay's called me pretty much petty for calling my mom and has continued to demand I give up my baby. I sent her a letter explaining that I've had enough of her nonsense. I'm keeping my baby and that I recommend she get some help. I added that if she continues, I will not hesitate to call the police. This weekend, however, was the absolute last straw. My mom and dad have the spare key to my house, and while she was over at the house for brunch, she took the key. While my partner and I were at work, she broke into our house, stole all the clothing, blankets, nappies, bottles, and pretty much any other item that we bought for the baby, except for the furniture. It was later returned after my mom found it in her car. I called the police, but they told me I could not do anything because I had no proof of it because it was all returned. My partner and I are moving in April, but I'm scared to tell my sister. I'm scared she'll find out where we live and take my child. I get that she's upset and jealous due to her infertility, but that should not mean I have to give up my baby. My parents know about this, and they've been doing their best to get her some help. She doesn't want to adopt because she wants a child that's her own flesh and blood. I'm due in August, and the stress she's causing cannot and will not be good for me or the baby. My partner is looking into a cease and desist letter. Is there anything else I should do or say? I'm scared for my baby. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So there's an update for this story that happened 6 days after the original post. If you're enjoying so far, support the channel please by clicking that subscribe button. Here comes the update. That support I've received from here is overwhelming. Thank you for the comments, although I can't reply to them all. They're so appreciated. We'd had the locks changed, cameras installed, and a Ring doorbell. I've started saving every letter and screenshotting every message my sister sent, and plan to take them to court for a restraining order very soon. We've also been seriously documenting everything. My husband and I are planning a trip to Ireland for our anniversary next week, and it's going to be good to clear our heads from my sister. I've called the police to report her harassment, and they gave her a stern warning. She contacted me saying that if I won't give her my child, I can at least pay for multiple rounds of IVF, which I've not replied to other than refusing. She's been begging my parents to convince me to give up my baby, which they refuse to do. They've also been giving statements that basically say that if they give her my contact information, they will not see my baby, to which they agreed. I've since changed my phone number and we're moving very soon. My sister does not know our new address, and she actually stood on our step for 20 minutes a few days ago just banging on the door. My husband opened a window and told her that if she did not leave, he would let the dogs out, and threatened to call the police. We have a rather small but hyper puppy who jumps on everyone and barks a lot, and she's quite scared of dogs. So this made her leave. I started working from home last week, as did my husband, and we followed the advice on one of the comments, washed all the baby stuff as well as made sure none of the food in our kitchen was messed with. Luckily, none of it was. We're planning on getting a restraining order as soon as possible, and are looking forward to our trip. I'm already sick of being pregnant. I'm not even in the 3rd trimester. I just want my baby. Thank you all again for all your wonderful advice, and I may update you again once the baby's born. So I was starting to question the mental health of the older sister, and it seems a lot of people in the comment section were too. Let's read a few comments. The sister either needs therapy or a mental hospital. Given the length of the sister's gone through and her husband's enablement, just an intervention's likely to side like water off a dude's back. Comment 2 says, she needs to go to a mental hospital and then continue with therapy, probably for the rest of her life. Medication would be something she should consult with a specialist. This is that level of crazy. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, but I have enough personal experience as to recognize that the kettle is also going bad. Alright guys, let me know what you would do, because this is truly a crazy situation. I don't even know how I would handle it with an older sister demanding something so insane. Alright, we have one more story left in today's video. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he's either married to me or his co-worker? My 37-year-old self and my husband 40-year-old has been working at his company for 10 years as a maintenance supervisor. About a year ago, they hired Tabitha to work in their accounting department. Since the day she first started working there, she had an infatuation with my husband that's now becoming unprofessional and inappropriate. This started when the heat went out in her office. My husband's job as a supervisor is to assign tasks to his employees. However, she's never satisfied with the work they do, even though he says that they do great work, so she demands he work on her office. She constantly calls him on his work phone for mundane things: carpet loose in a corner, loose screw on her coat hook, and he goes and fixes them without issue. Last year, when we went to the company Christmas party, pre-plague time, She was very flirty with him, constantly grabbing his hand. When he introduced us, she just grinned at me and said, "Look, there's Peter," and grabbed his hand and walked away. When we sat at the table, she damn near pushed me out my seat to sit next to him. And my husband told her to get up, that it was my seat. She walked off in a huff, and when she saw me in the restroom, she shoved past me. I told my husband what happened, and he said it was fine, that she was harmless. Well, I told him that she was not fine, and that she clearly had feelings for him, and she was acting like a jealous girlfriend. The past few weeks, this has ramped up to an astonishing level of inappropriate. She recently moved into a new house, and my husband and some of the other guys from work helped her move and put things together. He gave her his personal cell number, and she's been calling and texting non-stop about things she needs help with. Multiple times a day, all hours of the day and night, she'll call and text him for help. Last night, 2 a.m., she called about her heat not working. My husband said he would go over and look at it after work. I broke down. I told him he was not going, that she could call a technician like everyone else, and that he's not her personal maintenance man. I told him very clearly that she has feelings for him, and he's so dense he can't even see it. I told him that while it's nice to help on occasion, she calls him all the time asking for help with things that she can do on her own. Moving boxes, or pay to have a repair person come fix it. I told him that once he gave out his personal phone number, that he crossed a line, and I'm not comfortable with that. He said it's most likely an easy fix and it won't take long. So I cried and told him that he can either be married to me or married to her. But I wasn't going to be the weird third wheel in my own marriage. He says he does not have feelings for her and that I'm overreacting to him just wanting to help a friend. I don't know. I feel otherwise. Am I the a-hole? So, I just want to say, this story has so many red flags. You could start a construction business. Anywhere a red flag's needed, just give one. You'll have plenty from reading this story. I think it's kind of obvious that OP's husband's having an affair. It's my opinion. I don't know if it's true, obviously, but it seems like that's what's going on because he was just giving out way too many red flags. Let me know what you guys think, though. Drop your comments down below. One of the comments says, "OP, you're not the a-hole. Your husband's having an affair. I wish you the best of luck." So it seems like a lot of people are thinking this. If there's ever an update posted for this, I'll cover it so quick. Let me know your thoughts on this story. Drop them in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.